Alright everyone, so today I wanted to share with you guys 5 early tips on how to prepare for the Attack on Titan collaboration event. Now very importantly, I have to put this here as a disclaimer at the start, is at the time of me recording this video, we still do not have a 100% official confirmation yet. However, there has been lots of hints, teasers, and even data mined info revealed at this point, and there is an extremely strong possibility that this is coming to the game. About as strong as it can be without actually stamping the 100% official confirmed on it. But I still wanted to put that disclaimer there at the start anyway. Now, something else that I'll mention is these tips that I'm going to share with you guys today are going to be much more general based, and they're actually going to require some time and preparation in order to really get ready. And I wanted to put these out sooner rather than later because when we actually have the 100% official confirmation and a bit more info on the details of the event, then I'll go ahead and put out another video with more tips to prepare that are going to be a lot more specific to the actual details of the event. But these things today are definitely going to take some time to prepare for, so you absolutely want to have them in the back of your minds. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started here with number 1, and this is a really big one, especially if you are free to play, because it is very easy to burn through all of these right here, and that is stamina pots. So what I would suggest to everyone, free to play or not, is kind of have in the back of your head, know that there is a very strong possibility that this is going to be coming to the game. Now, a lot of people, especially JP YouTubers, think that it's going to be coming to JP first and then global many months down the line. And that's natural, of course, because JP came out first and they have been many months ahead on pretty much all content. But we've already seen things done a little bit differently, and I actually have a sneaking suspicion, and not confirmed, this is just my sneaking suspicion here, but I do think there is a strong possibility that we might actually see for the Attack on Titan collab having it drop on both JP and global at the same time. And I think that if this happens, it could actually be a lot sooner than you might think. So now is not a bad time to kind of have in the back of your head this idea of stamina pots, maybe having a few extra in your backlog so that if the event does drop and we're only given a few days notice by Netmarble that the event is coming, that's probably not going to be enough time for most people to really stock up on a bunch of stamina pots ahead of time, if that makes sense. So something you want to have in the back of your head. I definitely wouldn't say go crazy yet. Don't go overboard, especially given we still don't have the 100% confirmation, but absolutely worth keeping in the back of your head. So that's going to be number 1 right there. Now moving on to number 2, and this is actually a really big one, and something you might even want to give more kind of planning in the back of your head to than stamina pots, especially given the nature of the last collaboration banner, and that is possibly saving some gems for the exclusive collab banners. And I put banners in parentheses because we don't know if it's going to be one or multiple. For the slime collab, they condensed it. You know, I think it was different for JP though, so the details of this are unknown, but something that we do know about the slime collab is that the units were exclusive, and to my knowledge, even on the JP version of the game, there's been no opportunity since they originally got that slime collab a very long time ago now in order to get those units again. And you can't really say that about, I think, any other units in the game. And there is a strong possibility that that might be the case for the Attack on Titan units as well. So it might be your only opportunity to get them, and that means that if you don't have any gems saved for when it actually comes out, you might be put in a very awkward situation. So I would even say, again, don't go overboard or anything like that, given we don't have any kind of official confirmation yet. But keep it in the back of your head, and keep in the back of your head known that, you know, when it is actually out, announced, revealed, that, you know, it's going to be an important one because you might not be able to get those units in the future. So that's going to be number 2 on the list right there. Now moving on to number 3, and this is one that works really well because even if this event is actually a bit further down the road than I think it is, I think it's actually sooner than people expect it is, but if it's further down the road, you could still actually use these resources for other heroes, and honestly, this is something that you might even want to consider doing all the time anyway, just for future units, banners, and future non-collaboration events, but that is keeping a stockpile of at least some materials for units. And I'm really specifically talking about that stuff that you need to work on your units, like evolving them, awakening them, and enhancing them. And there is a priority order between these 3 right here. So the first thing and the most important out of these 3 is going to be evolve. And the reason why I say that is because evolving is going to require pendants. Probably SSR pendants, of course, and SSR pendants are very limited. You can stockpile them for sure, but you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you don't have any SSR pendants and you really want to use them. That's the really big problem there. So having a backlog of at least a few of them just for emergency situations, even if it's not this, possible or probable future upcoming collab, it's really nice for future units anyway. So that's going to be the most time-gated resource, is those actual pendants right there. But next up on that list was actually awakening materials, chalices. These are a bit more accessible in the game. You don't have to wait for your eyeball dungeon keys to refill in order to actually get them. But you're probably still going to be doing a lot of your awakening farming when we actually have the half stamina for boss stages. So while they are a bit more accessible, you still generally have limited time windows in order to farm a lot of these with the boss stages. And I would say, again, just have enough of them so that if you really want to take somebody from 0 stars to 6 stars without having to wait or immediately go out there and grind, this is something you want to have in the back of your head. And the last thing on that list is the enhancement materials. And I put this last in that little priority list because enhancement materials, kind of like for the half stamina for Fort Solgris, you could farm them then. But, if you really need a few of them, generally it doesn't take too long in order to actually farm out the enhancement materials. You'll need to level somebody up, and you can always just farm them outside of a half stamina event if you really, really need to. But something you want to be mindful of for sure. So that's going to be number 3 right there. Now moving on to number 4 on the list. This is an easy one, but again, something to be mindful of, and I would definitely say keep a few extra of these in reserve just in case. Like, don't burn all the way down to 0 of these, and that is skip tickets. So I still don't know exactly how these are going to work with the collab. There's a possibility they might exclude them. Who really knows for sure? But if you really want to be prepared and you just want to get a bunch of, possible collab event stuff done out of the way without having to grind over and over and over again, having a bit of a backlog of skip tickets will do the trick there. So like me, I'm probably going to make sure that worst case scenario, I do not dip below, like 50 or so skip tickets. I think I have 100 right now. I generally end up saving them. Actually, Final Boss is not the best example for skip tickets here. I went to the one place where you actually can't really use them, but I have like 100 or so right now, but I'll end up burning through a whole bunch of them during the half stamina events when I want to make sure to do my farming with other stuff, right? Because they save a lot of time. But I'm going to make sure that I stay above 50 or so of them at all times, even if it's not for this upcoming collab, maybe for other stuff in the future as well. So yeah, it looks like I have a decent amount of them right there. So that's something that I would suggest you keep in the back of your heads. And now moving on to number 5 on the list here. And this is the biggest one, the one you probably want to be the most mindful of, and probably going to be the most time-consuming one. And it doesn't necessarily even just apply to one aspect of the game. You can kind of apply this to many areas of the game. But, being caught up on certain other aspects of the game that you can be working on right now that you're probably not going to want to take the time out of right when we get a big, crazy event like the Attack on Titan collab. And again, like, you don't have to go completely crazy right now. It could still be a while. But, if you find yourself right now, like, falling behind on the story, we have a great opportunity right now. This week is a very quiet week in Grand Cross Global. So, like, this would be a great opportunity to catch up on things like story. You don't have to go all out, but, if you're really behind and then all of a sudden we get an announcement for a really big event, you're probably going to feel bad that you didn't spend a little bit of time catching up at least a little bit on, something like story. Or even if it's not story, PvP, right? Make sure you have that sort of stuff sorted out. Like, you're not at the very top of a certain ranking that's going to have you lose way too many more points than you have to if you fall below, and you're not going to want to take the time to spend all day in PvP matches right away when a big event like this comes out. So, it's not even specifically to story or to PvP. It's really to just any other aspects of the game that you might feel a bit behind on, that you can catch up on, that you're definitely not going to want to do when we get something really, really big. So you kind of apply this to whatever aspects of the game that you are personally going to be working on. Like for me right now, I know I need to catch up on the final boss Gother fights. I actually just started working on that because last week we had half stamina and I didn't feel any reason to actually work on that right now because I knew that it would be a 2-week event and I could just go and do the majority of it right now. But that's something I absolutely need to catch up on before this week ends. So, Anyway, those are the actual 5 tips. Now, I know some of you guys might actually be curious as to a little bit more of the information here. Now, importantly, I put that disclaimer at the start, is that this is not 100% confirmed yet, but we have a very, very strong idea that it's coming to the game. About as strong of an idea without stamping that officially confirmed label on it. So just a little bit of info here is, first of all, here is a screenshot of some data mined info with the actual names of different things related to the actual collaboration event, and these are, to my knowledge, actually in the game files right now. So this also has me feeling like this could absolutely be coming to the game sooner than we expect. And, you know, a lot of people still think it's going to be on JP first. Very well possible that would be the norm, given how that's pretty much how everything has worked up until this point. But I still have that sneaking suspicion that we might actually see this on both versions of the game at the same time, given how hard Netmarble seems to have been working on trying to catch up in many other ways. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing here is an image from the actual dev blog posted, I believe, a week or so ago at this point. And there's just a little bit of a hint here about the stuff that they've actually been working on. Now, this was posted by an official developer, community manager, representative of Netmarble. So, aside from the story and its chapters, the development team is also hard at work creating a different kind of grand story. We can't reveal what it is yet because we are still in the midst of development, but we're working around the clock in hopes that you'll enjoy this content like the Tensura collaboration. So immediately, the first thing that they hint at out of all the content that we've gotten in the game is that what they are working at, they are immediately hinting it as a comparison to the Slime collab, which is the Tensura collaboration. So this is really a big, hint here that they are working on this collaboration, and this was by the global team here. And it absolutely has me got that strong feeling that we could be seeing it coming to both global and JP at the same time. Again, these are just hints though, no confirmation, but it all does seem to really be adding up to be very, very strong. That's all we could say about this for now, but next time we'll be back with some more details. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys is just my observation, and this is probably the least strong out of all of them, but just a little something that caught my attention, and it has to do with the event schedule that we actually have for this week. And what I noticed is right now we are in an off week, which means as of lately, for many months now, we've had 1 week of half stamina events, and they've been following the pattern of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday boss battles. Thursday, Friday is the free quest, and then the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, is the half stamina for Fort Solgris. And it's been 1 week on of half stamina, 1 week off. 1 week on, 1 week off, so on and so forth. It was a little bit different when the game first came out, but that's been the consistent pattern for a while now. And this week is actually the off week. So Monday through Sunday, there should be no half stamina events. However, the actual schedule that we have for next week cuts into Monday and Tuesday a little bit here, and normally Monday and Tuesday would be the start of the next half stamina rotation, and it would be for boss battles. It would also actually include Wednesday as well. Now, I noticed that they didn't actually have it on this week's schedule, and that caught my attention a little bit, but it's important for me to say that Netmarble and the event schedule has not been a very good duo. They've messed this up many times before, and it really could just be as simple as an error or, something else. I wouldn't look too far into that at all, but it's, still something that caught my attention, got me a little bit suspicious that, again, we might actually be seeing this a bit sooner than expected, especially given how this week really is like the definition of a slow week in many different ways, including the actual banner as well. So anyway, that's going to be it for the video. I threw a lot of info at you guys today, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here, and I hope that you guys were able to put this information to good use. So if you enjoyed and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to leave a quick like as well. It really means more than you can imagine, so thank you so much to all of you who decide to do that. And more 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross Global videos should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to your right or below. Feel free to check them out. But if not, until next time, take care everyone, have a fantastic day, and this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.